Well, this is a song that I did for their papa, who was my husband, Eugene. And I really liked the words to this song for him, and I sang it for him, and he really liked it. And I kind of named it I Remember Dear. Well, I remember, dear, the day you came along, and I knew I loved you from the start. But I didn't know that I could love you so, but I knew it was straight from my heart. Now I know what it means to be lonely, and I know what it means to be blue. For all of the words you have spoken, my darling, will ever be true. Then you went away, left me all alone, with memories of the things we used to do. Now I don't know why I could love you so, after all that you have put me through. Now I know what it means to be lonely, and I know what it means to be blue. For all of the words you have spoken, my darling, will ever be true. You took me as a child, told me how to live. You taught me of all of the facts of life. I'll always cherish them, take them with me today. I'll keep them for the rest of my life. Now I know what it means to be lonely, and I know what it means to be blue. For all of the words you had spoken, my darling, will never be true. And that was from my heart to my husband. My name is Marylou Smith Laws, and I have several nicknames. One of them is Aunt Moo. I got that from my brother Frank's kids. Then they call me Aunt Boo. I got that from my brother Roland's kids. And then my mom and dad call me Midge because I was so small. And then everybody else calls me just come on and eat. That's what they call me because they say I eat too much. That's my nicknames that I got from all the people that know me. And that's where I got them. And I'm Mamaw, Grandma, and now I'm Marylou. That's from the little girl. So I guess I've got all those nicknames, okay? And I love the Mamaw. I love the one that they call me Mamaw, because you see that means that I have some grandchildren, and they call me Mamaw, and the ones that are married, they call me Mamaw. And I love that because I think that makes me feel like a dignified lady. I like that part. My name is Marylou Smith Laws, but I love Mamaw best of all. My first memory of music in the memory part was my dad sent me to 3 months of music lessons. But when I came home, I didn't know how to open the book because I was too busy playing. I was just 6 years old. But he saw some musical ability in me. So my brother Frank was going in the service and he gave me a guitar, which was a Sears Roebuck guitar, cost $10. Very expensive in those days. And so he said, Midge, that's what they call me because I weighed about 2 pounds. If you learn to play this guitar, you can have it. Well, I'm still that way. You tell me something to do, and I'm going to do it no matter what it takes. So I was determined to learn to play that guitar because I wanted that guitar, right? And so we had an old tube radio, and I'd listen to Ernest Tubb on Saturday nights with the Grand Ole Opry. And I'd tune the guitar. Now remember, I didn't know a note, right? And the next Saturday, I would pray that Ernest Tubb would play Walking the Floor Over You, okay? And so I would get the sound of that and change my notes till I found where he was at, okay? And then the next week, I'd tune my guitar with Roy Acuff, who played a violin, okay? So that was my first, because everybody says you could not have learned that guitar like that. Well, wait till you see me play. And I never had a lesson on the guitar. And I think between God and my parents putting up with me, I have a pretty good knowledge of music. And I still don't know a note. And I love music. Well, I don't have to chop no wood. I can be bad or I can be good. I can be any way that I feel one of these days. Like the woman that's dressed in black, real hobo by railroad track, and I'll be gone like a wayward wind one of these days. You got it, that's it. Elvis has left the building. Well, the most fun I had in my life, don't put this down as being mean, I'm paying for it with all this cancer and heart surgery, and Dad said you pay somewhere and it won't be in heaven. So I'm working to get there, so I'm paying here. No, I won't say that, but when I met your papa, that was the biggest fun I ever had because I ended up with him, and I should have never took his girlfriend and drowned her under a spigot because I got him. Well, his family didn't care too much for Gene's girlfriend, and they knew I was a little outgoing, right? So they said, stay over here and go to the Laurels on a picnic. I'd love to take you to the Laurels. That's the first time me and him had a date, right? And I pushed myself on him for the family, mind you, not me. Now remember, I'm 15 and a half. Too young to be dating to begin with. So I said to my mom and dad, can I stay over at my aunt's? Because we lived over here in Washington County, and this was over in Carter County on Walnut Mountain, right? And I went to school at Cloudland that year. So they said, go to the Laurels tonight, we're having a picnic. And we want you to do something to break this up because she's a city girl and she's too rich and too smart for us, right? We don't know only that Gene is dating her because of his boyfriend, his friend boy, the boy that he grew up with. Okay, I'll try. So we go to the picnic, right? And me and Virgie decides that we're going to pull a stunt on her. She's going to leave that picnic. It was cold in the wintertime. We went on a winter roast, and I can take you to the Laurels and show you the spigot. We grabbed her, put her under this ice-cold water, and drowned her. So my husband-to-be then had to take her home, and that's the funnest part of my life. I wish I could go back and talk to her. I got stuck with him for 56 years. I was just trying to be funny, didn't know no better. So the truck wouldn't start, and we had a big mountain to go up. Well, I'm already trying to get him from his girlfriend, remember? But me and Virgie's in the back of the truck when he takes her home, and he said all the time he knew we were back there, right? So the truck wouldn't start, belonged to his friend, Rex Isaac. And I said, I don't care what happens. You told my dad you'd get me back home, and by gosh, you carry me to the top of this mountain. I'm not walking. And they did. They did like this and carried me, him and Rex Isaac, to the top of the hill. Went and walked to a garage, got the car started. Now, he didn't ask me for a date, but I had to go home, and the next weekend he came over. This great friend of mine was just passed away the past week. Gene came in, didn't even ask me for a date, but I guess he wanted me because, wait a minute, there's a little trick to this. Him and his friend bet $5 on me. That's all I was worth to either one of them. That kind of hurt my feelings. Does even yet. And so they bet each other, one of them, and they had never saw me before. One of them would marry me. They were young boys, remember, too. But I had a body that looked about like today, and I was in shorts, and they thought I looked pretty. I was beautiful, remember? At any rate, they carried me to the top of the hill, they got the truck started, and took me home. I'm out for fun and games, right? I'd stand with my Aunt Selma. We look up in a tree, and I said, Aunt Selma, is there somebody hunting down there in that tree? What's in a tree they're hunting for? She says, you crazy thing, that's Gene. He fell head over heels in love with you. He'd backed the truck into a ditch upside down. He really fell for me. They had to get a truck and pull him out, okay? The next night, he said all of our life, he'd come over there to see if Dad would pay him for the tow bill. He didn't come to see me. But when he come, our good friend that we grew up with, played marbles with, eat apple butter from the same biscuit and all, he's there, and he says to Gene, to your papa, just go on in, Eugene, Mr. Smith's in the living room. Helen can tell you I'm not lying. This is how me and your papa met. I think we both met for stubbornness, and I married him, and I said, if I learn to love you, I'll live with you. But the reason was, he never told him this. He had a guitar, that one that he bought. He had a camera, and he had a gold tooth. I kind of liked that gold tooth. Well, we sold the gold tooth because we needed money. We sold the camera because we needed money, and I've still got the guitar, so I got the better end of the deal. I stayed with him until he left this world, but I'll kill him when I see him. We never had a honeymoon, and he didn't take me with him. I'm mad. So that's the story, and the funny story I had was drowning that poor girl under that spigot, and I remember that yet today. Now, it wasn't funny for her, but it was for me and Gene's family. And yet today, they won't let me get out of the Laws family. They love me. They still say I'm their favorite daughter-in-law. Okay, that's the funniest thing that I ever had as a young girl, was drowning my husband's girlfriend. That's the biggest mistake I ever made. No, I take that back. I loved him, I guess. I won't tell him when I see him, but I loved him. And don't you ever tell him. Plus, the man I married at 15 and a half, he put up with me, carried me through life, and when I missed a note, he just kept going and nobody knew it. So I didn't do as good as I thought I did, so I don't play too much now because I don't have nobody to carry me through when I miss a note, and then everybody's going to know I missed that note. But he just took me on through, looked at me and smiled and said, I'd say, honey, I did awful, and he'd say, honey, you did great. I kept playing the guitar. The one that we sang together, the very first song, was I'll Fly Away. We was going to church that day, and we got asked to sing in a little old country church, okay? When I met Papa, well, he didn't know me from apple butter. I'm just a Southern girl, so a lot of people don't know homemade apple butter, you know? So we sang, and some people up on what was Buck Mountain found out that me and Gene and his sister Virgie sang. And so, of course, the minister comes and said, we'd like some special music today. You think you all could sing? Well, I was a little shy like right now. But I said, okay. So the first song that we sang together, and me and him playing the guitars, was in a little old country church on Buck Mountain. And we sang I'll Fly Away. Now, nobody taped it, so we thought we did great, and I guess we did, because, you know, the reason we were really, your papa sang for the Lord. Now, I went singing for money, but if they give us money, he made me take it back. You cannot keep it. So he sang because he said the Lord gave him his talent, and he used it for him. But that's our first song together.